G'day. Thanks, Lambton Soil and Crop Association, having me speak at their Twilight Tour. My name is Jake O'Neill. I'm a sales representative for Shea, and today I'm going to be going over Shea's top 5 planter improvements. So before we get into the presentation, I'm going to just introduce myself a little bit. So I've been working with Shea for the last 4 years, farm with my family back in Lucan, Ontario, and have a real passion for helping farmers improve their operation and bottom line. Overview of the presentation. So today I'm going to cover the importance of having a good planter monitor, monitoring your planter, residue management, proper downforce, meter performance, and planter place fertility. So to start, kind of going to work our way from the cab to the back of the planter. And so we'll start with the 2020 seed sense. So this is the monitor that Precision Planting offers. So why is it important to important to monitor your planter, or have a good monitor to monitor your planter? So we want to pinpoint issues right away. So we don't want to see a planter issue after the corn comes up or in between fill-ups. So some of these bulk fill planters, we're planting quite a few acres between fill-ups. So we want to ensure we're doing the best job that we can. You know, the 2020 is going to offer insights on potential yield robbing issues, like too many skips, too many doubles, not enough downforce, too much downforce, low population, lower than what we're desired that you want to plant. So this monitor is like having your own diagnostic tool in the cab. So it goes on. We can put it on pretty much any planter with a planter harness and Dickie John seed sensors or wave vision sensors. So it doesn't limit you to a certain brand of planters. We can go on most makes and models. Next, so we're out of the cab and now we're at the planter. So residue management is very important, especially as growers are moving from fall mobile plow to more conservation tillage practices, leaving more residue. So we got more residue to deal with in the spring. So we're seeing a lot of issues like hairpinning, inconsistent planting depth, and cold soils not warming up and giving us delayed emergence. So something that we found, and we strongly believe in, that it's a good way to reduce the effects of these higher residue crops that we're trying to manage, is adding a floating row cleaner instead of planter unit mounted coulter. So floating row cleaners cut and move residue away. Unit mounted coulters don't. So we want to move that residue out of the way so we're not hairpinning it, causing seedling diseases, wicking moisture away from the seed. And we want to improve our row unit ride. And we get those big mats of residue out in the field. Planter unit rides up on top of them, and then we're not planting the seed. We're not getting good seed to soil contact. So some complaints in the past with row cleaners have been that they've been hard to adjust. I don't know how to set them. Where do I set them? So Yetter's floating row cleaners, they all come with brackets to put an air adjust cylinder in there. And so that way we can adjust from in the cab up or down, and that way we can set them as the field conditions change without having to get out multiple times a day. Next on our list of key things we need to manage on the planter is downforce. And so we want to make sure we've got the correct downforce. So why is it important? So if we've got too much downforce, we're going to create sidewall compaction. It's going to restrict root growth. And if we don't have enough, we're going to have sidewall collapse, or we're going to shallow seed, and then we're going to have uneven emergence. So what's the yield hit? Precision planting research shows an average of 7 bushel advantage to an automatic downforce system versus a static system. And so you can see here in the 2-year trials in Ontario that 4.1% on a 200 bushel crop. It's right in that 7 bushel range. I would suspect that we will continue to see that trend. I would say if you can guess your downforce conditions properly and change them throughout the field, you will do a good job. Like a spring or an airbag will do the same, but it's just they can't do it with the same speed or accuracy as Precision Planning's Deltaforce. So Deltaforce, we can apply up to 650 pounds of downforce to make sure we're getting to where we want to plant. And then if we are in soils that don't require that much downforce, we can actually take weight off the row unit so we're not creating compaction. And the awesome part about the Deltaforce is it responds instantly to the ground conditions, and we can come out of a compacted headland into a nice mellow interior of the field, and we can confidently know that we have got the right amount of downforce on that row unit to make sure we're getting proper uniform emergence. Next, after downforce, the next part on the unit that we got to focus on, and we feel growers need to focus on, is meter performance. So you guys are always telling me how expensive corn seed is or soybean seed is each year in the fall when you go to order. And so I always stress that we got to make sure that our meters are doing the best that they possibly can. So you can see here that when we have poor singulation, sub 99%, that 93.5, which I would say isn't that uncommon for some of the meters that come in to our shop when we put them on the test stand. They haven't been tested in 3 or 4 years, and it's not hard to find lots of meters that are testing this poorly. But after they get tested, some maintenance, we can get meters to plant. I like to see them go out at 98.5, but we do have meters that can do the 99.7 plus, and that you can see that, we can get them up to even 98.5, so 5% is almost 10 bushel. So, and it costs, in the grand scheme of things with the parts and the cost to maintain your units, I'll take that extra 10 bushel every year just for peace of mind that I know my meters are working properly. It's a real low-hanging fruit. Now, if you've got a planter that's got some acres on it, or want to make sure you're going to hit that 99 plus, V-Set with the combination of V-Drive, which is an electric drive seed meter from Precision Planning, it gives you that ability. So you don't have to worry about chains jumping off, chains wearing out, getting rusted, kinked, slack in them, sprockets wearing out, or bearings going. With the V-Drive V-Set meter, we can eliminate that potential issue that can cause a spacing or a singulation error. The V-Set meter is a real simple meter. We've got V-Set 2s or V-Set Classics. V-Set Classics bolt right onto your finger meter, so you can take a finger meter planter and very easily convert it to a vacuum planter, and that way you've got the best meter out there for your planter, and it's going to accurately meter your seed. Last thing I want to talk about is planter place fertilizer. So, nothing new here. There's lots of outside pressure to prevent nutrients leaving the field. So we've seen a shift in how growers are applying fertilizer, and lots of them are looking at using the planter as a tool to apply fertilizer. So we've got research that shows that both environmental and agronomical benefits to applying nutrients with the planter. So 2 types of applications with the planter that we deal with on a day-to-day basis are in-furrow systems and 2x2x2 systems. So in-furrow is great for pop-up. We can apply fertilizers that are highly available to the plant for early season growth in cool soils. And we're applying those fertilizers through Ketons or FurrowJet from Precision Planning. Primarily Ketons, but we do have a few FurrowJet systems out there. The big one that we're seeing a lot of guys switch to and is becoming increasingly popular is our 2x2x2 system. So that system is applying nitrogen either 2 to 3 inches either side of the row at about an inch down. And then we are applying fertilizers that you can't put in furrow that have got a high salt content, like our 28%, ATS sulfur, boron, zinc, other stuff at higher rates. So we like that placement. I like that placement. You know, the plants don't have to work hard to find that band of nitrogen or those nutrients, and it's kind of like rocket fuel to them. You can definitely tell when we're transitioning off the seed and those first nodal roots are shooting out into the soil, they're hitting that band and the corn's taking off. So we're applying that through Conceal, Yetter, 2968s, or Yield 360 Bandits. So I've got some examples here coming up later, but just kind of wanted to show you guys some yield results that we're seeing with, you know, nitrogen applied with the planter. So we're seeing anywhere between you know, on 1 year data in Ontario, we're seeing really good returns with moving some of that side dress nitrogen to the planter, and that way we're kind of hedging our risk for loss much better. We've got a bit there for the plant to take up early on, and then we're coming back in with a side dress application and putting the remainder on and kind of ratcheting that nitrogen throughout. You know, between planting and sometimes side dressing, we can have a large rain event and we can lose a lot of that nitrogen. Whereas kind of splitting that up, or even after side dressing, you know, you put all your eggs in one basket, you know, your risk for loss is much higher. So the results we see here is what I'm consistently seeing on my own operation. And if you'd like to get a little more information on this, or you want some more test plot results, I've got lots here on my computer, or I can get access to them. So just shoot me an email and I can get that information sent over to you. So here are some examples of the applicators that we have installed. So here's the Yetter 2968s, Bandits, and they go between the shank and the closing wheel. Conceal is a unique opener is because we actually replace the gauge wheel with a gauge wheel that's cut in half and with a knife, and then it puts the nitrogen band about an inch below the soil. Growers have been very happy with Conceal. There's not the splatter, keeps the row unit clean, and we don't affect the downforce of the row unit. Next, we've got the Keaton seed firmer, which is pretty standard on most planters. Very few guys run planters without Keatons, and it's just a really good way to apply fertilizer. Over here, we've got our Furrow Jet. It's got the ability to band the nitrogen 3 ways in furrow. So it kind of gives guys that, you know, you want to play with different fertilizer rates or some, you know, micros in furrow or whatever. It gives you that kind of that flexibility. So different tool in your toolbox. Here's a video of a liquid system that we've installed a couple years ago. It's Conceal, and the video kind of goes over what to expect when you what type of liquid system growers are putting on now and what guys are wanting to do. And I hope you enjoy the video, and we'll be back shortly after it.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Shea shop located in Watford, Ontario. I'm Jake.
And I'm Cole, and we're going to go over our most recent planter project.
Here I'm going to go through the fertilizer attachments that we put on this John Deere ExactEmerge planter. We've added the Keaton for seed firming. Before, Precision didn't have a Keaton offering for ExactEmerge planters, but now we do have that option. Also, along with the Keaton, we've put on Conceal. Conceal is a fertilizer attachment from Precision Planting. It is 3 inches off the side and 1 inch below the surface is for what we feel the ideal placement. It's a knife design not a coulter. So the advantages to the knife is it's less force to get it in the ground, and we don't make the row unit any longer. That knife is fed by 1/4-inch fertilizer line, and that goes up to a check valve that's a splitter with orifices that then goes to 3/8 line that goes back up to our Wilger manifold for row by row monitoring.
On this planter project, we added two 200-gallon tanks to the wings of the 1795. It already had a 400-gallon tank on the tongue. We added a custom-made quick fill with 2-inch couplers. With it, right out the back, nothing leaks on the planter. You have the option of filling the center tank or the wings. After that, goes to hydraulic driven pump, one for the 28 with a 4-section shutoff controlled by the John Deere rate controller. And for the starter, it has a tank off the front of the tractor, and with it, it's also a hydraulic driven pump with a 2-section shutoff, and it's controlled by the same John Deere rate controller. Thanks for watching our video today.
And if you got any questions or are thinking of doing your own planter project, don't hesitate to find us online or give us a call today.
If you enjoyed that video or saw something in this presentation that you want a little more detail on, just give me a call on my cell or shoot me an email. You can also find me on Twitter, and where I post lots of our previous projects. So if you got any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And again, I'd like to thank Lambton Soil and Crop for having Shea Ag be a part of your Twilight Tour. It's a real pleasure to work with you guys, and hope everybody has a safe and good harvest this fall.